Hello, welcome back to Bool Boys Pod, episode 57, part 1. We did a little pickup exercise kind of draft last week, and we're going to add that to the end of this week. I know it's been a couple weeks since we posted, but I appreciate everyone who sticks around. Got Siebes, got Beenagoo, self-named Beenagoo there. Yeah. So how are you guys, first off?
Doing well, yeah. Can't complain,
Okay.
We're in the
Brian,
midst
okay?
of the tournament,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah. Brian, you okay?
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, chugging along, same old stuff, work, life.
Okay.
LA. Yeah.
So the plan today is I really wanted to do there's this tier list going around. I think it started with Ryan might know this name, Ludwig, and his podcast The Yard. They did something similar, or they started this trend, and it's gone down the podcast circuit. And I wanted to do one for a NBA player archetypes. But before that, Brian had requested some time to free ball about fantasy. So as requested, Brian, why don't you take the floor? Let us your thoughts. I mean, fantasy, for the viewers, all three of us are out. I think the last time we spoke, we all had a lot of aspirations of making the playoffs. I did not make the playoffs. Brian did not make the playoffs. And then Siebes made the playoffs and I think lost to Arjun, who's now in the finals. So, Brian, you were first. You asked for this. So why don't you tell us your thoughts about
I wanted to talk about the end of the season and stuff. But, I mean, just to give some context, I think people want an apology out of me. I'll take the L for it's not a excuse, but it's a reason. It was just a lot of March Madness stuff happening at work, and I just was negligent. I'll take that L. I think people want the apology. I will not give an apology. I'll give the apology for maybe the first round, but I'm not taking a whole playoffs downfall for that one. That's all. That's basically all.
So, Siebes, do you want to give the context, or should I?
I mean, I can give the context. Or I mean, go ahead.
Well, ultimately, I lost 4-3-1, so it wasn't totally Brian's fault. I mean, I don't know that I would have played Arjun. Maybe I would have, and he would have been the 5, and I would have been the 4, so I still would have lost. But it was looking like I was going to be tied 4-4 with Arjun, and in the playoffs, when you're tied, the tiebreaker is the lower seed advances, I believe. But I'm not sure what the whole permutations of the situation were. The season just kind of sucked. If we're all being honest, it really became a drag late February. Having to track fucking two-way guys and how many games left they had on their contract, so that it became a farcical season where I wouldn't even really consider what ended up happening towards the end as real fantasy basketball. I think that's why there's so much talk of drastic change being needed entering the next season. And I think, it's gonna have to happen just for everybody's sanity, because it was gross. I picked up the Brandon Williams from Dallas, and then it's but he only can play 7 games, and it's fuck, how am I supposed to track this? And ESPN doesn't have a games remaining on the list, so I'm having to look at Sport Track or whatever to see how many games he has left. And it's I don't know, this is not what I signed up for. It just became gross. The people who are in the finals now have spoken about how it was pretty shitty. We had one of the, I don't even know if we want to get into maybe the greatest fantasy crash out in the history of fantasy sports, which I don't know. Maybe I feel maybe there's a feeling that I jinxed that into happening, but that was never my intention. I was just giving odds as if I was DraftKings.
Great cover job over there.
There's no such thing as a jinx. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. I'm just fucking
around. The Jokic missing time also fucked me, because I went to Nuggets Lakers and Jokic didn't play, so
that blows ass.
Yeah, it was fun to see Luka, but I don't know. This was a sham of a season. Kind of feels as farcical as 1920, where the season didn't even finish.
It's kind of, I mean, just to build on that, I think it's kind of crazy how far or how bad it's gone with all the injury management and stuff. It's like, we've had this league obviously for a long time now, 15 years or however long, and weekly has always been, at least from like a strategic position, more in some ways more fun, right? You had to make better decisions of like who you're playing throughout the week, and there's been injuries throughout the seasons, and even the past couple ones, there have been complaints, but it does seem like this season is clearly just worse than the others. Injury management is so bad that weeks are just thrown away. You also add like the IST, so like schedules are just some throwaway weeks, honestly, right? Where one person's team, seemingly everybody has 2 games, the other person's team has like 5. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay,
there were a couple of those weeks.
So it's a lot of factors, and I know a lot of. I'm very curious to see where like the discourse goes of like the changes needed. I'm super down too. I think I've been generally like not wanting daily because of like management, but again, it's like, yes, it's easier to click a button. I think there are other ways to manage, like, the waiver wire killers, maybe give them a few, put a little bit of a barrier to like, so just pure output isn't just pure success, I guess. Even though that should be rewarded. Again, it's complicated. It's complicated.
Mr. Seven moves all season.
That's basically what I'm trying to say. That's basically what I'm trying to say.
I agree with Brian.
There needs to be a floor. You need to have 10 moves minimum, or you're not.
All that to say, yes, big flub. I'll take the L on that one, but I am open, for changes in general. Even minus the flub, like I said, I think there were so many schedule losses. Like, it became a thing this year for us to be like pretty much schedule loss. Somebody has 10 more games than me. It's like, okay, this just kind of sucks ass. So,
I want to respond to what your point about like how it's different now in fantasy, but I want to properly set the context for fantasy and what happened, because I think Seep's kind of glossed over it. I just because I think it's an all-time flubbing on me too. So I think 1 week to go or 2 weeks to go in the playoffs, there's around 7 or 8 players fighting for 6 spots. I don't want to say their names specifically, but Shea's team and Jokic's team had basically locked up 1 and 2, and there was like 5 players or 6 players playing for the 4 positions. And I was in 7. I believe JT was in 8, Siebes was in 3, and Brian was 4, Arjun was 5. I think it was something along those lines. And so basically from my side, what I had asked for on our last pod was a little help from my pod brothers.
I tried, bro.
I know, and that Andrew told me about it. Andrew told me about it. Let me finish. I'll paint a good picture of this. Okay, so basically, Brian was playing
Arjun,
and Siebes was playing JT, and basically, I needed to be better than Arjun to go through, or 3 better than Brian to go through. So I needed Arjun or Brian to like kill each other. But at the time, JT did not factor into my calculus at all. But because of Siebes' poor fortune and or a bad luck, and Brian's willing negligence in not putting 3 players in, I got shafted. That's why people are angry, Brian. I feel. And,
yeah.
And, give me the salt. It's fine.
I talked to Andrew. Like, I go to play ball with Andrew, and he said, I can't really blame Siebes because he tried, but I blame Brian because he didn't even try.
It's annoying though. Like, you put it
come on, that if you can't at least accept that.
I do accept it. I do accept it.
Okay,
it's a little annoying.
It's that's what I would hope. Siebes was setting that picture of my salt, but he didn't do it. But
I hadn't even thought of you. Yeah, this is true.
On your second point about like what changes in fantasy, I think the NBA is like the product itself is shot. But I think, tell me if I'm wrong here, the reason why players are like more willing to take days off and maintain their bodies, because I thought about this, they only really need 1 contract to live generational wealth, whereas maybe back in the day they would have to string together 2 or 3 contracts to make that kind of wealth. That's fair. Like $1 to $2 million contracts versus a role player getting like 40 to 60. I don't think that scales with like inflation or like what it was back then?
I don't know. Maybe. I just feel like if I'm on the Jazz and like I'm having Lauri Markkanen's year and then you're not playing for shit, it's like, all right, like I'm down to just kick it and get millions of dollars, Like,
so you think it's more the team pushing it down?
This year it was very evident it was the teams pushing it down.
Okay.
Because this is why I'm not so certain that drastic changes need to be made this offseason, but perhaps being proactive is better than being reactive. And the reason I say that is because this draft class, we all know, is kind of like being bandied about as a historic draft class. I mean, it's like 5 or 6. You probably have like 4 or 5 players who would have been the number 1 pick overall last year. Yeah, maybe 4. Yeah. So like teams were really incentivized to tank. And that's why you saw like, I've never seen tanking like the Jazz, honestly. That was like a season of tanking. It was like they maybe had like 1-2 weeks where it was like, all right, let's try, boys. And then it was like, all right, no, we're not going to try anymore. And it basically started. Then you had like the Wizards, the whole season of tanking. The Nets won way too many games and we're like, fuck this, we're out. Like, and then you had the 2 incredibly unlucky teams. Well, one unlucky and one really poorly built team in Phoenix. Like it just kind of, it felt like there was a lot of circumstances that led to this like historically shit season. But that's why I think if it continued to be this way next year, I would be like, that's what I was thinking initially, and then it seems like there's just a lot of momentum that we should change this offseason, and I'm not going to oppose that,
Oh, that's fair. You were actually taking a conservative approach, saying, will it fix itself next year?
And yeah, because I'm just curious, like, it can't be this bad again next year. And if it is, I feel like...
Interesting.
Yeah, Adam Silver is... So I'm curious what the NBA does this offseason, if they're going to be reactive or proactive the same way.
Are you saying it's because of this historic draft class that it's particularly bad?
I kind of feel it's that, plus you had 2 like historically fucked up situations. I'm not sure that we'll ever see 2 seasons. 2 teams have the same type of horrific seasons in one season, like at the same time as we did with Phoenix and Philadelphia. Like that's pretty rare to have 2 all-time disaster seasons in one season.
That's a good rate. I like that. I would. But what do you think, Brian?
Yeah.
Last word on fantasy. Let's not make this a fixed NBA thing, but you get last word on fantasy.
Oh, I think that's just a really interesting point. I'm sort of on the side that I see it as just like a trend of everything, just general. If you're not competing, there's so many competing teams this year, so it's not. So it's interesting, but basically that culture of like if you're not competing for a championship, then just like who gives a damn, basically.
Yeah.
And then then from teams. So I mean, if you're thinking of like all of like the bottom, the Pels just like pulled Zion. I mean, obviously they sucked, and like with the Jazz. Kessler's like 20, I've said this throughout the year. Kessler's like 22 years old and like, he's like pretty healthy and good, but like he just skipped a bunch of random games for, they're like making up injuries for him.
His neck hurts, bro.
Yeah, just stuff like that. And so I think some of it is good spirited in terms of like, why run someone into the ground if we're not competing? So I think there is some positive side to it from a team perspective, but ultimately it becomes a problem because the NBA is like a product, and especially fantasy is like coming from that. So I think there's a lot of problems with that too.
I can't remember what Spurs did last year. Did they play Wemby for like 20 minutes, but he played a lot of games, or was he also sitting out a lot of games as well?
Oh, he played a lot last year?
Yeah, I know his minutes were really low.
He didn't finish the season, I don't believe.
Okay.
But he still played like 70 games, I think, last year.
I don't know if he played 7. He must have, because he won with 65.
High 60s.
Did 65 go into effect last year?
I thought this was this year.
Yes. No, last year.
Was it last year? Was it last year? Okay.
And he won Rookie of the Year, right? So he must have played 65 games.
Yeah, I think he was at like close to 70. If
maybe that's the way to do it. Just lower minutes and have them play more, but
lower games. There needs to be a change.
Yeah, I'm agree with you. Anything else on this fantasy opening, NBA opening? I mean, we'll talk about playoffs our next pod, which will be in a couple weeks, I assume. But That'll be like the start of the playoffs, I think, right? Roundabouts.
But the start of the playoffs is 2 weeks from.
I'm pretty hyped for it, honestly.
2 weeks from Monday, you said, Sebastian?
From Saturday.
Saturday. Okay, yeah. Oh, we should be able to fit one in, hopefully, with you guys. So let's move to the tier list. Anything else? Move on? All right.
Let's move on, yeah.
Okay, so let me present the share screen. Okay, can you guys see?
Yes.
Not with these ads in the way, though. There we go.
There
okay.
We go.
All right, so the idea is this is the tier list. You go from internal damnation to blow up, you blow up at these people, to I don't like you, to kind of cringe, harmless, W and or based, and then S level, S tier, which is the GOAT. And people have been doing this for, I think the Yard did it for gamer types, and then the one I saw was for WoW player archetypes. So I thought we would do one for NBA player archetypes. So these are the ones I've cooked up with a little help from ChatGPT. Siebes also took a look and gave his notes on them. So the idea is, let's pick one. A contract year, Cameron, very simple, is a player who only plays well when they're in their contract year. And you have to tell me, like, I think the example I used was Brandon Ingram last year. He played really well. Jalen Green also, I think, before he got his $100 million extension, played really well. Siebes, any more off the top of your head you can think of?
Well, the guy who's done it multiple times, I mean, it's maybe Julius Randle continues this play into next year, but right now it's looking like Julius is having another contract year explosion. At least since he's come back from his injury, he's been playing phenomenal. But yeah, Jalen's hard for me because as much as I'm not a huge fan, he's very young. So I don't know if he was a contract year Cameron, as you put it, or if he's just young, you know?
Oh, yeah, that's fine. I'll try to name out what I thought as players. So, yeah, Julius Randle, James Harden last year.
Ariza was the classic guy.
Yeah, Ariza.
Ariza's a mega classic, dude.
Mega classic guy.
Super classic.
Schroed man with us in 2021, they put down. But, like,
that
basically
great,
players,
though.
Yeah, players who play really great above what they're expecting because they're trying to get that money, basically. So where would you put these type of players? Brian, you first.
We're doing contract
year.
Oh. I honestly, I mean, let me talk this out a little bit. For me, I find it fairly, like, I find it kind of cringe, but if it's on my team, it's I don't like you. I think generally, yeah. I mean like Ariza or whatever. But like I think just generally speaking, I don't go into like the damnation or blow up areas because some people just aren't built to play basketball in the way that they love it. You know what I mean? Or like they're grinding every year. So from a more human perspective, I do. I just think like, I mean, you're in the NBA, you should probably try a little bit harder. But I'm not so much on the negative scale on it because I guess to some level it's a job to some people. So I do get
exactly.
That. So unless they're on my team, then I don't like you if you're on my team.
My positive view is it's harmless because it's just human nature to try hard when you want to make money or you need to make money, right? I feel like it happens in ebbs and flows. So too harmless and one kind of cringe. I think we have to move it up a little bit. So the bottom of harmless.
Yeah, fair? I was like basically right between kind of cringe and harmless. I tend to think harmless, but I can see the kind of cringe case.
Okay, moving on. Let's do this one. Learn how to shoot. So basically great players who refuse to learn how to shoot. Basically, Matisse Thybulle, Ben Simmons. These types of players. Any other player comps you guys got? Vando.
Would Randall fit in here?
No, Randall.
Rando's not a defensive stalwart, in my opinion, but yeah.
Oh, this person has to be a defensive stalwart.
I think so. That's the connotation. Is that they're like a solid wing player.
Should be a 3-and-D, but they're only defense.
Isaac Okoro.
I see.
Isaac Okoro?
correct. Yeah, like these types of players, exactly.
Like Isaac Okoro, that's like one
Okay,
of the
very
Cavs.
good.
Yeah, for years it was like if he can just learn to shoot, he's the perfect player for the Cavs. And then there was like, we'll trade for DeAndre Hunter. We just can't wait anymore.
So, Siebes, you go first this time. Where do you put them?
I don't know. I maybe I'm too nice. I just think it's kind of harmless or it's kind of cringe. I don't dislike these people. They put in a lot of effort. Vando's like one of my favorite players to watch, so I'm not going to be too mean about it. I'll go harmless.
Brian? You're as the purebred shooter in the group.
Maybe I just think everything's kind of cringe because I mean I don't put this in the negative area because people like Vando, even though it does get kind of annoying that they get these wide ass open threes and it's not even the misses, it's the bad misses, and you're like, dude, you're wide open. That's why I put it kind of cringe. But then players like Vando provide so much value, and like Tybal, they provide so much value even if they're not hitting that shot that I do get it. They're just a specialist in their area. So I wouldn't say completely harmless because there are times it could be a little bit. Again, I use Vando as an example because I also like Vando, but it could just be a little frustrating. So I put it in kind of cringe.
I also put it in kind of cringe because it's not like you hit the nail on the head. It's not that they're missing threes or tough threes. It's that they're left open and they're missing those threes, which really hurts. And you think as an NBA player over time, you'd be able to pick up a couple offensive skills over your years as a journeyman or a vet. Yeah, that's my beef. So anything else on this? We'll move on. So these are streaky shooters or streaky less shooters.
D'Lo?
Basically, yeah. Players who, Jordan Clarkson, maybe early Westbrook, people who just shot a lot. Can have great games most of the time, just really bad shooting numbers. D'Lo is a good example, Brian. Well said.
Yeah, I tend to agree with where you put it already. I don't like you.
Just by accident, okay.
What exactly does blow up mean? Just like
that means like if you had the chance, you would like blow up on them, or every time you see it, it makes you very angry, and you
doesn't mean you'd like detonate a bomb on them. That's not what.
No.
That's kind of what I interpreted it as, and I was like,
no.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's pretty extreme. But,
whether it was, I think D'Lo. So I actually go more so blow up or whatever because
when D'Lo keeps hitting those keeps shooting and he's clanking them, it's kind of frustrating.
Yeah, like Keontae George right now on the Jazz, and they have a multiple ones, I guess, because they also have Clarkson. It is a very unpleasant viewing experience. So
I do see it as it feels like I said this a lot about D'Lo. It's like true random, right? The gameplay is exactly the same, and the effectiveness is completely dependent on if the ball is going in or not. But it's just like nothing else changes, and when it's going in, it's like this is great. But then when it's not, you realize they don't affect the game in any other way at all.
Actually, even when D'Lo was making shots, it just kind of made me angry. That might be a personal issue.
I think that's a unanimous blow up from all three of us.
I can't even be excited about this because I know you're gonna fuck up very soon.
Well said, Brian. I think you hit the nail on the head there. Okay, moving on, chugging along. The last of the low post. So basically, centers and Sengun, Epet Zubac, players in today's modern NBA who still have not adopted or refused to adopt outside shots. What is that? Win? It's a win.
Yeah, that's a big dub for me too, dude.
Okay.
That's a big dub.
I would say harmless, but you guys both say
no, huge dub, dude.
Dub, bro.
Yeah, huge dub. Huge dub.
All right, that's high respect. I didn't expect that.
Footwork, bro. The fundamentals.
Yeah, I like it, but you would think maybe they pick up a corner three just to expand the game, but no, they're happy.
Just a last comment on that. I think Edie is actually a good in this kind of category because people were kind of singing his doom before he entered the league, and he's good. He's legit good.
Kid works very hard, man.
Yeah. He's pretty active, and he gets some nice moves in the post, gets boards. He's like, dude, I'm a believer that will never ever truly die unless everybody's just like Wemby or something, which I don't know. Maybe that'll, maybe that's the future. But like until that happens,
The league's gonna be so crazy. Everybody's 7'6" and can do everything.
but until that happens, I just think like
Evolution.
a huge body who bodies up is always going to be important.
Especially when he played us, like just the fact that he's bigger than everyone else by like 3 inches and 50 pounds makes a difference, you know? So there are some places for them. Heat check hero. Obviously a player who is mesmerizing when they're on. They can carry an offense for a quarter or so, but I wouldn't consider them a number one option or anything similar to that. I think early Jordan Poole, Cam Thomas, Malik Beasley. I think, did you put Rudy here, Siebes? I think that's
yes. I think Rui is in here.
Okay, appropriate.
Maybe
so you kind of get the vibe. Go ahead, explain it.
I mean, Rui is awful to watch unless he's hot, basically. Like, his offense is pretty horrendous. I have an issue with this, not an issue with this category because I get it, but like, Jordan Poole never was a fan. Like Malik Beasley now that he's on the Pistons. And who was the second player you named?
THJ?
Cam Thomas? Love Cam Thomas. Cam
Yeah.
Thomas is quite fun when he's on. So I'm a nuanced heat check hero fan. I don't know. Maybe this is harmless to me.
There's a slightly more
kind of cringe. Maybe this is kind of cringe for me.
Okay. I would say there's a slightly more positive connotation than streaky-ish score who's just chucking shots. This player can make the shots and can carry some offense, but it can lead to bad shots eventually, I think.
Yeah, I think for me it's kind of cringe because when it's not going in, it's like, dude, what the fuck? You were on fire 5 minutes.
You're killing
ago.
possessions, basically.
Yeah.
Basically. Bri?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that.
Is it worse or better than a player who refuses to shoot?
I think worse because sometimes possessions are just throwaways when this person doesn't do anything else. I mean, I'm thinking of like Cam Thomas. I like Cam Thomas too. But
I do too.
Sometimes I watch the games and, one game he'll be like 15 of 21, which is like the perfect heat check hero. And the other game he'll be,
7 for 24.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I find it. And then it's those games that's like, oh, this just kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So I think this next one will be a kind of an AKA for all Steve's player, right? Triple Singletary.
No, I don't know about this.
So
who would be some examples?
The examples I have: players who consistently post modest stat lines but are celebrated for intangible contributions,
maybe a little
like
bit.
Leadership and defense. Right.
Okay,
So I put Draymond. I put this year Oscar Thompson, Jaden McDaniels, Kason Wallace. Like not a lot.
Like these players.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, they're not going to be like offensive gurus or like fulcrums in any sense, but their contributions are both sides of the ball across the board. That's kind of the vibe here. Siebes, you can go first on this one. It's up your alley. Where do you want to put them?
I'm going
Win?
W. Yeah.
Better or worse than an old school big man?
That's tough. I'll go slightly worse.
Slightly worse,
I
Brian?
feel like the league has been slightly increasing in these triple single Terrys. Is that what we're calling them?
Yeah. Okay. Brian?
Yeah, I was going to say W. I mean, it's almost for the same exact reason, but a different perspective on it. Like I was going to put it above low post because they seem to be more valuable than purely just like the low post score. So I could go either way. Like I think we both have the same opinion of it. It's just whether it's positive or negative. But
okay,
Ashwin should break the tie because I agree with your point also. Actually,
I would agree that these guys are more rare now. That you can get a lot more of these guys in the league now, and it's they're both equally W in my book. So it's splitting hairs there. We can also look at Fab Halta if you need it, guys.
Let an ad block, bro. Damn.
I do. I have an ad block. Oh, actually, not on this account. Oh yeah.
Chrome? Do you use Chrome or what?
I use Chrome and I use uBlock Origin, and
they tried to shut down uBlock. You can
I
still
use
use
it. I use it.
You have to manually turn it on.
Yeah,
now. It just kind of sucks, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, G League Goats.
Who's a G
pretty-
League goat? Like Bronny?
Ronnie? Yeah.
Ronnie. I said
Mac
Mac
McClung?
McClung.
Yeah, Mac
'Cause he-
Drew
McClung.
yeah,
Timmy?
kinda-
Drew Timmy?
I don't know much about
Is he
Jeremy
killing the
Timmy.
G League?
He finally debuted with the Nets and he had like 19 and 12 in his first
Oh.
game.
Oh, good for him, dude.
What's the
He was
hype?
killing it in the G League too.
Did you
I didn't-
say that thing in group chat before or after this game?
Oh.
I actually said it in like the first quarter of that game because
okay.
he hadn't put up the numbers yet, but I was like, knowing this fucking season, the way the season's going, Drew Timmy's gonna have like a double-double.
I mean,
And
I'm
he
looking
did.
at the stats. He's contributing in these games. Not even the
Yeah,
19-point game. He had like an 11 and 10 game. That's like
Good for
pretty
him, man. The
Yeah,
guy worked
you know,
very hard.
No,
that's like
honestly,
pretty
yeah.
damn good.
Yeah.
9 points in another game. It's good.
I'm positive on these guys, but I don't know that I put them in the W. Maybe harmless.
Exactly. They're harmless to me. I don't really think
Same.
about them that much.
Same.
Yeah.
Maybe above contract year Camerons though. I kind of like them more than the
Same.
contract year
I
Camerons.
definitely do.
Okay, that's fair.
We always want to see the underdog succeed, and that's
Yeah.
what these people are.
And that's the one positive of March basketball. You get a lot of these guys, and it's like good for him. He's taking the most of his opportunity.
All right, moving on. We got a couple more left. I think we should be good to finish in the next 20 or 30 minutes, hopefully.
I think so too.
Free throw Freddy. So Shea, early Harden, Trey, foul baiters, people who exploit the rules to get free throws as a way of offense. I think that's the best way to describe it.
So I liked Harden, but now I'm not.
Yeah,
Like
that's exactly what I was going to say. I don't like the other guys that much, but I like Harden. I think
I
Harden's
liked
pretty
Houston
sick.
Harden quite a bit. I thought Harden went about it in a very manly way. He was like a running back.
He was fighting a noble fight, so obviously everyone was like down for him to win, right? Because it was going against an unstoppable force.
Oh no,
really.
I just meant I liked watching foul baiting Harden on Houston. I
Oh,
thought
okay.
it was actually
Okay.
like I actually thought it was like he got unfairly treated because he actually did it in like a very rugged way. I don't like foul baiting Harden on the Clippers because it's a lot of like step back threes landing on a guy's foot and like I don't know, whatever. I respect the hustle, but driving Harden who like barreled into people.
He was
and got
strong.
fouled,
Yeah,
I respected that.
He was a
He was,
force.
he was really strong. He was.
I
Like
do
really
have to
strong
put
guy.
this in eternal damnation though.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Damn, dude.
That's
Because
I
what
was
it's
gonna go. I
become-
don't like you. So
what it's
go
become
explain
has
it.
what it's
Yeah.
become has become gross. I don't like
That's fair.
that offensive players are allowed to like hook their arms into players, make the contact, throw their heads back dramatically, and get a call. I don't like that they're able to use their offhand to create the contact, then flop and get a foul. Joel was not. I hope he's. I don't mean to speak ill on Joel. Like he was a dominant player, but the way
Yeah,
he
he's
foul
got a lot
baited
of
was a
issues.
little bit gross.
That's a good example as well. Yeah.
Brunson, when we watched that Lakers game, where also it sucks that Brunson got hurt in that game, and I hope he's back and healthy for the playoffs. But that was a very frustrating game to watch because Brunson, I felt like his hair contributed to the refs calling a lot of these calls. It was smart of him. Like if you flail and your hair flies, it's going to look more like a foul. But yeah, I'd have this under eternal damnation. It's kind of ruined a lot of basketball.
Oh, I forgot to mention you. This is a big oversight on my part. You get one lock where you get to choose where it goes, no matter what the other two people say. So, Steve, is this your lock for eternal damnation?
No, I'm interested to hear.
Okay,
Yeah.
I would put him at. I don't like you to blow up at this corner right here, Brian. What about you?
Well, this is like the first one where we're all pretty separate. I'd put him in just kind of cringe. Like again, I don't like watching it.
Oh,
but
Brian sees a lot of himself in these players.
Brian's one of these. It's a
I never
skill,
get
it's
to
a
the line.
skill.
No. I never get to the line.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like it is a skill. I see it more as an indictment of the league, of like them not being able to police this stuff better.
Pro
than
player,
the player
Brian.
itself.
Yeah.
So that's why I put it in kind of cringe.
I don't
Okay.
like that small. Okay, I don't. I'm not gonna lock it, but I'll make the last case. I don't like that the league has gone towards rewarding small guys more than they reward big guys who are
Yeah,
actually
that's
physical.
true.
That's true.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That is fair.
You look at Jokic's arms every game. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
So you put it here. Steve's put it here, and I put it at like here. So that means it can go either way.
It should probably be I don't like you, or
Okay.
blow up. I don't know.
Top of blow up.
Top of blow up. It
Does that mean it's the worst?
No, it's streaky.
uh,
The streaky. Is
For
is
sure,
worse.
that's fair. Yeah, that actually makes sense. Yeah, that's like the average.
Okay. This is a fantasy term. Next one is the waiver wire wonders who can save a fantasy season, like I think Quentin Grimes and Dyson Daniels did for JT last year,
This
year.
Yeah.
And then Isaiah for me last year. Hardenstein,
Christian Brown this year for me.
Yeah, so look, you understand what these are. They can out of nowhere a diamond is unearthed type vibe. So for me, I would say this is probably close to S-Goat, W or S-Goat for me. Brian, what do you think?
I mean, theoretically, it should be Esco, but I feel like I'm not in a position to talk given my recent behavior.
That's fair.
Well, that's fair. I like the self-awareness, but I think even if you wanted to, you wouldn't have found one. It was so dry this year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying in general, not even the end of season flub. It's also like, again, I don't really pick up people that much. I believe in the draft. I believe in my draft.
I think
That's true.
So I can't really speak to it.
10 transaction floor, or you don't make the playoffs. That needs to be enforced. But I think Esco, I it's hard. Maybe bottom of Esco, depending on what else we put in there.
Okay, we'll save it here. We don't have anything. So
yeah.
Can you give me an example? One for you, Seeps?
Well, this year, Christian Brown.
One that really made a difference in like you winning one. You're
winning the year KD went down. I believe that I strung his stats together with a combination of like Rondé Hollis Jefferson and somebody else.
Yeah, exactly.
It led me to the title, and yeah, so I do recall that being a thing. Marvin Williams, I think, also was a waiver wire god when I picked him up, and Will Barker possibly.
Sure. He did have a few really good years.
I love Marvin Williams. Always popped off for me in fantasy and was horrible for everybody else. It was like 3 years in a row. It didn't make much sense.
Okay, moving on. DTD Damien. You all know who this is. This is AD. This is Kawhi. Steph this year. Basically, you never know how much they're going to play because they're always day to day. And it could LaMelo for sure. It could swing one way. It could swing the other way. But they're good players, so you still want to have them. But they're always a risk.
Blow up.
Oh, I'm so blow it up. I mean, I'd even touch like Eternal Damnation.
So
I'd have it bottom of blow up.
Okay, so the most positive version of this is our AD, right? So you say you blow up at AD.
I mean, that's
maybe not this year.
Okay, so maybe that's for me keeps him out of Eternal Damnation. I'm fine with bottom of blow up, but then when I think of people like Zion, LaMelo, these types of people, it just feels like Embiid, like these types of players are literally ruining franchises, right? Like.
Yeah,
or saving them. In Kristaps' case, when he does play, he saves them.
Yeah, but he's not like the main guy.
Okay, that's fair.
If you think of like Zion, like they've basically floundered the past 5 years trying to like hope. I mean, but the team is good. But basically that's it. Like, I mean, think of how hyped the Hornets were, and then I like LaMelo. I think he's sick, but then like he goes down, and it's just like what like. You just have to kind of think of your whole season around whether he's going to come back or not. And it's like, okay, he'll come back for 30 games. It's like, okay, your team sucks. You know what I mean? Like that's just, so I'm cool with blow up.
I would actually have put them in Eternal Damnation if there was not an injury element that can't be controlled. Like if it was like a purely nutrition thing, like for Zion or like.
So I guess it complicates things because we play fantasy. If I was just like a regular fan, I'd probably just have it and I don't like you. But the fantasy element, I think, makes it a blow up.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I would put it here. Maybe I think these guys are both better than this guy. Maybe not this guy. Maybe not this guy.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Oh, really?
Is that fair?
Somewhere like that. No, I think you gotta keep it with. I don't know. Now I'm all befuddled.
I'm coming from the perspective of like, again, I don't hate the people, but I just think of like the effect on teams. I would keep it at the bottom.
I think Brian's right. And I think you have to put Free Throw Freddy back at the front because that's what we agreed upon. Because Brian, charitably raised the rank of it, unfortunately.
Okay, that's fine. All right. Still cashing checks. There's 2 old guy categories here. One is old but gold at the bottom, but these guys the distinction is old but gold is they're players who are fucking old but they still play. So LeBron,
KD,
Conley,
Horford.
Al Horford, these types I was kind of thinking of. Yeah, KD too, for sure. And then still cashing the checks are people who are riding the bench and are old, but are just don't play at all. And
Taj Gibson.
Yeah, Taj Gibson was one of them. Yes, he was very good. PJ Tucker, Garrett Temple.
I do enjoy Garrett Temple still being in the league.
So these type of players.
This is close to a W for me, but I feel like they don't do enough. I may put it as harmless, maybe top of harmless or second to G League GOATs.
I would put W.
Yeah, I was going to argue
bottom of W.
I was going to argue bottom of W because we don't see the effect of the locker room vet, dude. They're keeping these guys on track, dude. They're keeping these guys on track. So I think that's
close to S though. Actually,
they cash checks to a reason, dude.
DeAndre Jordan is fucking awesome. Like I love the guy. Yeah, this is okay. It's like maybe it has to be below triple Singletary, but they are great. Okay. They are W's. They are W's.
Yeah, they're putting their arm around the 2-year player and saying, "Hey, get your shit together. Stop going out. Do you want to be? Do you want to stay in the league or
invest?"
Exactly.
It's like a comforting thing to see. It's like, oh, that guy. I grew up watching that guy. He's still around. Nice to see him.
Yeah, you know? I think that's a dub.
But let me preface it with this: is that you've now set the floor for old but gold because these guys are the same thing, but they play. So you're saying old but
Al
gold.
Horford's cringe, bro.
Is it not S? So. By logic,
are we just doing that?
Yeah,
let's do all the gold. Yeah, I'd put it below still cashing checks because still cashing checks are just comforting. But old but gold, if they're not on your team, it's like, man, what the fuck? Could even be kind of cringe.
Conley's 39, man, or he might even be 40.
He's definitely still cashing checks. He's not in old and gold. Is that what you're saying?
He has a positive contribution to the Wolves, honestly.
I guess it's not fair for LeBron, but I would say. Yeah.
It's like a paradox because still cashing checks is like the feel-good story. And then old but gold is like the actual good players. And we're like, nah, fuck them.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. You guys
that's the precedent. No, I don't agree, though. Because if the old but gold is not on your team, he negatively impacts you. Whereas the still cashing checks guy, he's just like a bull guy you see. Like, it's like, the dude you see at the gym who you just wave at, like, what's up, man, versus the guy who always chats to you. Like, if the guy who always
I could be on board with that. I could be on board with that.
Isn't that chill? It actually ruins your workout.
I'm not too mad at that. I could be on board with that.
Okay. Moving on. So I think, is this okay?
They're
together, but for some reason,
maybe in like 10 years, maybe we'll see a lot of inspiration from the old but gold people. But I think we're still a little too young to be like, if he can still do it, I can do it. Like, I don't think we're in that stage of life.
We got so harmless, dude. I think we got.
All right, harmless. So moving it down. Okay.
No, they could be in win, but they definitely have to be behind still cashing checks. I think.
Okay, fine. Revenge game merchant. So players who historically are not very good.
They have to not be very good.
They're not very good, but when they play a former team, they normally pop off. I guess the examples I had were like D'Lo versus Golden State. There was one more. DeAndre Ayton versus Phoenix.
Does he pop off? I haven't paid attention much to that matchup. Like, did he pop off when he played Phoenix?
There was one big pop off that came up.
That's really funny.
Yeah. Sorry. Dylan Brooks versus Memphis, Ayton versus Phoenix, and D'Lo versus Golden State. Those are the examples I have.
Did Toby pop off when he played Philly? I haven't kept track of this revenge game element as much as I should have probably.
But you, as a Laker fan, you kind of get what I'm saying is that these guys don't play well for a lot of the games. When they have like a game they've circled on their calendar, they get up for it and they play really well on that game.
Yeah, I see that.
I'm harmless.
Yeah, it's harmless. Maybe bottom of harmless.
Yeah, I'm not really.
I think it's kind of cringe, but bottom of harmless is fine.
Why cringe?
I'm ambivalent.
Just play hard on all games, dude. God forbid you don't need extra motivation.
You don't know the human side of life of the game, Ashwin. The human side.
Fair enough. Maybe not. Okay, let him cook. Let me look here. I believe let him cook is role players who, when given the opportunity, can take over offensively, take over offensively for brief stretches before returning to their supporting role.
Like Terrence
Peyton
Shannon.
Pritchard, Bones Highland, Lou William, Jordan Clarkson, etc.
I think Bones Highland, you had him here. He's definitely not here.
Used to be.
Ooh,
Yeah.
used to
I'd
be.
say
Half a season.
Terrence Shannon is here, the Wolves player. He was fucking great when they were very injured. I know this category. I kind of like this category.
I would say AR a couple years ago, but I think I put the note. He priced himself out. He's too good
he's
now.
not there anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can imagine first or second year when he started cooking a little bit. You're like, hey, this is show. We can ride this for a quarter or two. So let him cook, and it's hype. It has to be hype too.
This is maybe top of. I don't know. This is a tough one. It's a positive one, but
yeah,
I'll let you guys decide whether it's bottom of W or top of harmless.
I would say, for me, before Brian goes, it's actually one of the few things that, like, in the NBA game, when someone pops off, that it still gets that dopamine rush when someone
like Lonnie Walker.
Yeah, well, Lonnie Walker versus Golden State Warriors, like something like that. Yeah, like this. So I would actually put it like above this, above the defensive.
Below triple Singletary.
I agree with Sabes.
Okay,
below
so
triple Singletary.
Let him cook. You don't like AR pop-offs, or just that's the best example.
AR is way too good.
Now he's just too good.
But 2 years ago,
I've never had him in this category. I've always been very high on AR.
No, I think middle of W is good for me.
Yeah, middle of W.
I think that the reason to give a little bit of reasoning of it is that the whole theme of let him cook does imply that when he's not cooking, it's just not as great. I think people of like the last of the low post and triple Singletary, there's a little bit more of a thought of
consistency.
Yes, sustained excellence, I suppose.
That's fair. That's very fair. Seeps, this is your one, right? The bus driver. So
yeah, like it's like the star player. I mean, it's Tyrese Halliburton. It's Nikola Jokic, although I think he might be in his own tier. Okay. The bus driver.
I thought the bus driver.
Cade Cunningham. It's every great player in the league, essentially, who can lead a team by himself.
I see. I thought it was someone who was running the tank commander bus. That's what
that's a tank commander, and it's a little different.
The bus
a bus driver. It goes back to the Charles Barkley situation a few years ago, where I feel like he said KD was not a bus driver.
Yeah,
whereas I tend to think KD is a bus driver, but just to give context.
I put Jokic and friends as to encompass this, but we'll use yours. But bus driver, it's. I mean, but this is an easy S code, is it not?
Yeah, I would have to say S code. But I feel like when you sent me your list, I felt like there was not a category that actually encompassed star players.
Okay.
And this is like a little different of a star player. This is like a true star player who can lead a team by himself.
Let's leave that aside, and then I'll go to this next one because I think it's slightly different. Is Jokic and friends
it is different.
Players who like are
transcendent,
perfect teammates, always make the right play, have no like ego when it comes to basketball. So like Jokic obviously is the first. I think Steph had it in him, and then I think the archetype is TD, Tim Duncan. So like these type of players. So would you say like I feel like
LeBron
Jokic is above? Yeah, LeBron above peak LeBron.
I'd have it number one. I'd have it top of Esco. I mean, I feel like we just watched
the perennial like
triple double.
The epitome of an NBA player, basically, is.
I think it's like a once in a lifetime type player who you'll never see again. I think that would be
No problems for me.
Once in a generation, we'll see like maybe 2 or 3 in our lifetime, maybe, right?
I don't think we're ever going to see another Nikola Jokic. I just have to. I think we may go to our graves never seeing another like 60-point triple double from a center again.
High praise, yeah. It's tough.
It's maybe Wemby, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's no disagreement for me there. It's a lot of these players. They drive eras. If we're thinking of Steph and TD and Jokic, you know what I mean? Like Jokic is still kind of building that. The resume, but these are players that are central to an era. So I mean, I think it's
they always play the foil to the other team because of their stability and like greatness. So
Spurs versus Lakers or whatever.
Yeah, LeBron versus Steph, and now Jokic. Well, this is a different era, a little bit.
Volatility versus stability.
I'd
Yeah.
have
So
I'd
that's
have
so
bus
deep.
driver. I'd have bus driver above waiver wire wonders too. I must confess.
I'm not opposed. It's not.
I do
Actually,
like
waiver wire
watching-
wonders can make your year, dude. That's
But I like watching.
over a generic but great NBA star. Wouldn't you take that waiver wire wonder?
Are we talking real life or fantasy?
Well, they kind of melt. It's just for you when
The
you're
totality.
The
The totality of your.
Yeah.
That
Well, what's
makes
more
it a lot
important to you,
tougher.
Steves? Yeah.
I do get more of a dopamine rush from watching like Cade, I would say, than watching like Christian Brown. As much as I love Christian
but Cade's
Brown,
on your
that's
team.
why-
That does you can't use that example.
I'm saying like when you have a bus, I kind of like watch. I still like watching Halliburton too. Like I would probably put it above.
What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, I'd probably keep bus driver there. It's basically why you watch the league. You know, like I'm even waiver wire wonders on my team. It's like I'll tune into a game where there's just better players because it's more entertaining to watch. Honestly,
Yeah, like I wasn't like I tuned into too much of Isaiah Collier and Alessandro Sarr for me to be like hype on waiver wire wonders at this point.
Okay. Next one, black hole. Basically, the ball hog. You go to him, you know it's going up. Jalen, sometimes Julius Randle. I even would say sometimes Ant can do this because he hasn't learned.
They've gotten a lot better, I'd say, but I can see what you're saying.
Yeah,
But if
you
you're gonna
know what I
include
mean.
Ant, if you're gonna include Ant, then I have to put it in W, which I don't think I want to put it in W. It's completely different.
Remove Ant from this archetype, and then what would you put it? Where would you put it?
Well, it becomes complicated.
Just because ants can make the shots doesn't mean it. Like other players don't make the shots, you know.
Yeah, maybe it's kind of cringe. Maybe it's I don't like you. I don't know.
I would put it.
Depends
I
who
don't
it
like
is.
you, but Brian.
Yeah, I mean, I would put it in there. I don't like it either. I think just like aesthetically, I don't like watching these players.
Do you have an example of a player like this?
Black hole. I mean, I think for me, it's Randall.
Okay.
Randall's gotten a lot better since he came back from the injury, but when he was at his peak, like black hole-ishness, yeah, it's not great. I tend to.
Yeah.
Would you say RJ Barrett was like this?
Sort of. I don't know what he was doing. That's kind of more so how I don't know what he was out there doing, but Godspeed.
All right. Good Steam's bad. Good stats, bad team player. Yeah.
You put it under blow up. Do you want to blow up or do you want to on I don't like you?
I don't like you.
I'm okay with either one. I'm just curious.
I had blow up, but you guys had it a little bit higher, so it should be there. Yes. Good
Well,
catch.
I could be okay with putting it in blow up.
For
Now
me,
that
as like someone who likes to play basketball or passing and stuff, it is very frustrating to watch. And I know it's inefficient. But like the only person who was chill, in my opinion, was Kobe, who did it. But I don't know. It's fine here.
Yeah,
Brian,
I don't
agree?
like Jimmy B's best. Yeah.
Okay. I think I moved one up. So good stats, bad team player. I would put them in harmless. They're just trying to get by, man. Get paid.
They're harmless and it's kind of funny.
Yeah, I put bottom of harmless too. It's like it's fine, whatever.
Okay.
I would put it above. What is this one that you had?
Revenge Game Merchant, contract year.
They're fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine though. Yeah.
So Dumb and Dumber players who always make boneheaded mistakes or dumb plays.
You had JR here. D'Lo's here.
I had early Jordan Poole. I had JR, Jalen Green. So
D'Lo is here.
Yeah.
Jackson Hayes
well,
can be here at times.
Yeah. Even
I'd
Rui,
probably-
Rui can have
I
some
would put this in
boneheaded
blow
plays.
up.
Blow up. Really frustrating for you. It makes you want to punch the screen.
I think so.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
I feel like eternal damnation is just too strong. I'm not trying to damn people into the depths.
There's some that
forever,
should
dude.
go there. There's some that should go there. What's coming up? For me, when I saw JR ruin that game of LeBron's, I was so angry.
Russ.
Yeah, Russ last 2 days.
That was crazy.
That good examples.
That
I
was
like
crazy.
Russ a lot right now. That tried my my patience.
Yeah,
I've become
same.
quite fond of him this year, and that was like, oh no, dude, why'd you do this to me?
I think it's here. Okay.
Yeah, I could even put it at the bottom of blow up, but it's fine.
The main character whistle Messiah is when a ref takes it into his own hands to make the game about himself.
We know this.
Oh,
is
okay, well, there
you
you go.
laid off eternal damnation.
So, yeah. Well, there you go. That's there's like that's easy.
There's a lot. So these are some of the
Evil
negative
Gucci
ones
Mane?
coming up. Yeah.
Fuck that motherfucker.
Well, that's obvious.
Okay, let's do one more positive one. Podcast peers, all these players with their podcasts, and how does it strike you? The Draymond pod, playoff P.
A bit harmless to me because the content is quite good.
Okay, Steve says it harmless.
So if they're a retired player, I think it's like harmless and even a W. But for current players, I find it a little bit cringe. So that's fine.
I don't know. Like, did you really not enjoy a lot of these Paul George podcasts this year? Because I thought they were
they were good. That is true.
They were very funny.
It's probably more so like in terms of the content, not about that for me. It's the big picture, I guess. Like, damn.
No. I think the action itself is cringe. I think the impact they have is kind
as
of
we make our own podcast.
Yeah, but we're not
playing in the NBA, man. I ain't making $40 million.
Oh, that's true. If I had that money, I don't think we'd be making a podcast, to be honest. But,
I'm down for harmless. I'm down for harmless. I listen to a lot of it.
Chill.
I'm not gonna lie. I listen to a lot of it.
Like, LeBron's Mind the Game is pretty chill.
Well, Mind the Game's good. Mind the Game's super fucking sick.
I think Dre's is pretty good too, to be honest. I actually don't think it's that bad.
So I would agree that it's mostly harmless, but I don't like how sometimes they try to create narratives of. I'm thinking of Draymond particularly, but it's like un-American not to have free speech though. So I don't know.
So you're saying if you put it in kind of cringe, you're being un-American?
Yeah, I feel like if I did, it would be kind of cringe of me.
Hell, dude?
No, you should have free speech. You should be able to say what you want, but there's also aspect of you're representing the league, and sometimes what things you say can affect the league negatively. It's big money organization. Am I so far out of bounds?
Wasn't expecting a free speech angle on the tier list today.
No, because they try to create the narrative about how the game went or how they had interactions with refs or fans and stuff, and sometimes it's obviously naturally biased, and that can, because they're such important people, it can trickle down to stupid people. So that can be dangerous, in my opinion. But okay, crunch time criminals. These are teams and or players who continuously foul at the end of the game, even when the game's outcome has been decided, extending the game unnecessarily.
Is this an NBA thing or a college thing more? Because I don't recall it being as bad in the NBA. In college, I think it's quite horrible.
The one example I used this year was Boston and Cleveland.
Oh, the Cavs?
Yes. And there's some coaches who do this too, just foul. Some coaches are good about it, and I appreciate that. But you understand what this type of person is.
I'm okay with fouling up 3. I don't like it in college when they're down 11 points and they still intentionally foul and there's 30 seconds left. It's all right, man, you got to give up on the fucking game. So this is close to eternal damnation to me.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, none of us have used a lock. I guess we can use it at the end, but okay, eternal damnation. What do you think, Brian?
I was thinking blow up above DTD Damien, but still pretty low. Interchangeable with Dumb and Dumber.
Okay.
Because I almost see them as the same thing. Very similar almost.
You don't
I think it's worse.
It's you never think you're gonna lose, and you always think you can win.
Just you're wasting everybody's time. I think it's
then I'd probably put it lower than Dumb and Dumber. Okay. DTD Damien's still lower for me again because of the team ruining aspect.
You
guys have it lower than I would have put it in I don't like you, but
I hate it. I watched more college basketball than you though, so
yeah,
it really makes me so angry when there's we're down 12 points. There's 45 seconds left. Let's intentionally foul. It's you fucking lost the game. Give up on the game, bro. It does make me quite angry. To the point I've thought of very weird rules for college where if you foul under a minute and you're down 8 or more, I think it should be 3 free throws. That's how awful I think it is.
Damn. Okay. I'm okay leaving it there. That's fine. Can be pretty egregious when a game that should be ending in 5 minutes goes about 25 minutes.
Yeah.
What is Dirty Dan's, bro?
Dirty Dans are dirty players. Bruce Bowen, some would say Pat Bev, people who have a history of being around player injuries. I think.
What about beef stew? Is beef stew in there?
Beef stew, sure, yeah.
That's a W then.
But Bruce Bowen is the
That's
W.
not even-
You
I don't
hated
even
him.
see-
He's
I
like
don't
one of your
even
least favorite
see-
players.
I don't even see Beef Stew as like dirty, as in like trying to injure you.
Just
I
fucking crazy.
I just think he's about it. You know what I mean? I would not put Isaiah Stewart under.
I mean,
dirty.
Lou Dort is kind of a dirty player. You could say the Magic have had some dirty moments. This is
Wasn't
probably
Manu also kind of a dirty defender?
Kobe. Kobe was a dirty offensive player also. So I don't know if I'd put Manu and Kobe in that. I'm just saying, like I don't know. The Spurs had moments like that. I guess I'd probably put this in I don't like you.
I would as well, actually.
I don't like.
It really
the
depends
fake
on the
hustle.
player, honestly.
I don't like the fake hustle diving into legs thing.
Yeah, that's egregious. I think a lot of players would get angry about that.
Yeah.
For me, just because I got injured, I would blow up, but 2v1 is fine.
Because it's like you can be dirty in like kind of a chippy way, right? Exactly, and then there is the dirty way where you're like karate
closing
kicking,
space.
So
Like,
yeah,
I felt that the
I mean?
play. I don't think Cole Anthony is a dirty player. I think that when he dove into Jaden Ivey's legs and fucked him up for the season, I think that was a dirty play.
Yeah,
Like
sure.
I don't like that fake hustle shit. I think it's dirty.
That's fair. Bonus men is players who are consistently in foul trouble and get their team into the bonus. The example
Jaren?
I had is Jaren, because I know him personally on my team. But
I know him
Kinda
personally.
yeah, me and my good friend Jaren.
Triple J, my great friend Triple J.
Yeah, my good friend Triple J. I would say blow up for me, or bottom of here, because this is one of the simplest things. It's just like being present and being locked in, kind of not making stupid fouls. And a lot of these guys make stupid fouls, which just ruins the flow of the game, their team's ability to take fouls, and getting the other team in the bonus. So I'll put them in blow up. What do you guys think?
I got it kind of cringe. That doesn't offend me too much.
Okay. So Brian, break the tie.
Yeah, I'm probably kind of cringe too.
Okay. So
I think you're maybe just feeling some type of way because of Jaren, dude.
Well, I'm trying to think of a Laker example of someone who'd always get into foul trouble. Can you remember? Dwight?
Samaki Walker?
Mark Madsen? In between or top?
I think it's probably like
Top.
kind of cringe. Brian and I both said kind of cringe. I'd probably put it. I don't know. It can be. That's fine. Yeah.
So Hustle Time Hall of Fame. I think I can't remember what the distinction is on this one.
It was like Aaron Neesmith, I think, is in here. Jose Alvarado. Alex Caruso.
Lack elite skill, but make up with relentless effort, grit, energy, earning
This
fans'
one-
respect. Yeah.
Very similar to Triple Singletary, is it not?
It is, but I feel like these players aren't always as productive.
For sure.
Yeah, they can be like the Deladova types who are just there, like.
Yeah, that's a dub.
Yeah,
It's a
it's a dub.
It's a dub. I think bottom of dub.
Big old dub.
Better, more. They're
Bottom.
Yeah,
Bottom,
bottom
really?
of bottom. I'm okay with
Yeah,
that.
I like an old but gold guy more than like Jose Alvarado.
Okay.
I might have it
I
above
don't
old but
personally,
gold, but I'm okay with it.
Oh, you did too? Then
Yeah, I'm okay
That's
with
fine.
that.
okay. Stocks holder. So this is a fantasy one. We got the last 4 coming up, and any more if you want at the end we can add. But
It's a dub,
stocks
bro.
holder is someone I know really well. Is a player who averages 2.5 or 3 stocks a game, but they come in like huge spurts. There'll be a week of 0, and then they'll get like 5 and 4 in one game, and then 4 and 5. So it completely messes up your matchup sometimes when you're expecting certain steals and they don't come, and they come the other week, but in huge numbers, and then you beat that player by like a huge amount where the steals don't end up mattering. That's my beef.
I'd go Esco actually.
S-Goat, really?
Bottom of Esco, yeah. I had
Why?
100.
Give me an example. Yeah.
Because for years and years, you guys are going to talk about what are you going to remember from this fantasy season? You're going to remember my 100 stocks week. That's going to be the most memorable thing from this season. Champions fade, but when you have 100 stocks in a season, I mean, who won the NBA title the year Wilt scored 100 points?
I don't know. Lakers?
Yeah, see? I'm not
sure. All right. You heard it here from the horse's mouth. Yeah.
In 20 years, you'll think, oh, he had 100 stocks 1 week.
I mean, I was going to put it in W. Like, I think even though they can be inconsistent, that's just the nature of defensive stats, honestly.
Yeah,
so
I'd have it either.
So, like, if they're just doing that, I think it's,
No, I think it should be top of W or very close to top of W. Maybe below last of the low post.
So Seep says it here. Brian is.
I have an S goat, but I do think it should be like below.
So you can't tell us where we should put it.
No. I'm saying I think as a balance it should be above triple single Terry or above let him cook.
I put above let him cook. I'm fine with that.
So, but I have him down here, so I'm gonna put it down here. Still catching.
But that's so awful.
It's a combination of the three C's. What do you want?
That's awful. I think you misunderstood your own category.
I'm sure, dude.
But no, like I want to get back to that. Brian made the right point. Like, how often do you see a guy just getting 2 steals every single game? Like, it's an average for a reason. Like, it's pretty hard to. Like,
it's true, but I feel like Triple J is uniquely.
This is all Triple J. You have a lot of Triple J trauma.
And Jalen Williams is that you would expect them to have like a steal or 2 every game, but it comes in troves of 5 or 6, and it's very annoying.
I mean, even Wemby, like obviously he's amazing, but he
has
stretches where it's like just only like 2
or 1 even.
Yeah.
That's
so
fine.
I think that's just the nature of how defensive stats accumulate.
Jaden McDaniels is kind of like this. Like there'd be games where he had like 5 stocks, and then there'd be like a game where he had like 0 or 1, and it's like, all right, I accept that. Yeah.
I moved him up for you guys here.
Yeah,
there you go. Okay.
We talked you off your JJJ.
No, well, it's 2v1. I gotta do it. Okay. Garbage time Gary. Just players who like live for the garbage time at the end of the game and like pad their stats really hard, but aren't really productive players when winning basketball is concerned. So the examples I had: Sam Hauser, Duncan Robinson.
Is Sam Hauser like pretty good?
I think both of those guys don't fit. I think you're thinking more like
Celtics always win by a lot, so I see Sam Hauser a lot at the end of the game.
He gets good minutes, though, doesn't he?
What?
Doesn't he get like some pretty good minutes of like, I don't know, like early second half?
He does. Like he's pretty valuable to them.
Yeah, he gets good.
Okay,
minutes.
If you have a better example, but do you understand the archetype I'm trying to
I do understand the archetype. I think the whole Wizards team is kind of that.
Oh yeah, yes, I saw you. All right, dude. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Okay. Maybe Charlotte too.
Some people who just don't play
people on Charlotte,
basically.
Yeah.
But they go extra hard, and it's like, dude, the game's over, man. But then you kind of like, I guess that's for me. It's kind of harmless because they're trying to make their name for themselves.
I'm harmless. Hey, play hard at all times.
I'd have it pretty high on harmless because I kind of enjoy it sometimes.
Okay, that's fair. Here.
Maybe above contract to your camera.
I think so as well. Okay. So last 2 here, max money mid is players who receive max contracts or are looking to receive max contracts who are generally not worth that money. Who did I have? I think Zach LaVine was one.
I think Zach LaVine's kind of good. Honestly.
I don't know what I think of him.
Jeremy Grant is not max now, but I think it was close to when he signed it. Tobias Harris on the Philly contract. BI now is getting close to 40 million, I think 45 million. So players who are getting paid for upwards to 50 to 60 million, close to, but aren't necessarily a 1A or 1B or even a 1 or a 2 on a winning team. That's how it is sort of.
I'd probably put this bottom of kind of cringe. I don't know.
That's kind of what I was thinking as well. I don't have any negative feelings for them. I don't dislike them. Don't get angry at them. but they're not harmless.
That's fair. Yeah, I think that's fair.
They're messing up some team's cap. Brian, what do you think?
I can agree with that. Yeah, no, I'm cool with kind of cringe. I was thinking potentially top of I don't like you, but then because I'm just thinking of like scenarios where it kind of like screwed us, but
yeah,
but like overall, I don't have.
So we should put a. Are we putting a bottom of kind of cringe?
Yeah, I'd say bottom is fine.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Last one by no particular reason is just League Pass Legend.
These are S-coded.
I think so too. They invigorate the fans with like a new personality and style. So I would definitely say they're a W. I wouldn't. S-code is pretty rarefied air, but what do you think, Brian?
I don't know.
I mean, can you give me give me an example of like somebody who's a League Pass legend, and that's League different from legend. Like
Almond Thompson this year.
Trevelyan Queen is what ChatGPT said, but I had Carson Edwards earlier this.
Who the hell's Trevelyan Queen, bro?
Carson Edwards plays in EuroLeague.
But I remember him from like it was earlier on the Celtics when he was really popping off. I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago. That's what I wrote down.
Are these
guys like Syndiata Gaines?
Gaines. No, who's that guy who played for the Lakers?
I don't really get it.
No, the Laker guy who came out and like scored like 20 or something with us, or 30.
Jones?
No, it was
Andre Ingram.
Andre Ingram.
Yeah, Andre Ingram.
So these aren't like Amon Thompson, early Anthony Edwards. These aren't those type of guys. These are like not stars at all.
No, they can be, but they're people who come up from the league and invigorate the NBA in some way. I think that's maybe too broad. Maybe we can restrict it to non-superstars, like you said, like Mac.
Okay, then this is only a W.
It's a W.
Only W? Okay. I would actually put it at the bottom of W.
I'm okay with that as well. Yeah.
Okay. So that's all the archetypes I have. Now, final thing we have to do really quickly is your locks. Each one gets one lock. So
and you can move.
You can move it anywhere, and no one can move it after that. Brian, you go first.
Oh man. Oh, this is hard. Let me see.
I know what I'm gonna do.
I think we did a pretty good job.
I know what I'm gonna do.
Okay. I have mine. I would move podcast peers down to kind of cringe and lock that shit.
Bottom, top, where?
Above bonus men.
Fair enough. That's Brian's lock. He thinks podcast peers are kind of cringe. Let it be known. Okay.
All right.
Steve's, yours.
This is easy. I mean, I should have just done it earlier. I'm moving Free Throw Freddy down to Eternal Damnation, and I'm putting it above the referees, but I'm going to say Unethical Hoop should be punished by Eternal Damnation.
It goes hand in hand, dude. Those two are like...
yeah, that's true.
Yes, it does feel appropriate.
These two things can't exist without the other.
Yeah, exactly.
Satan's greatest soldiers.
I knew what I was gonna do. I was gonna move this down to kind of cringe. Stocks because it was kind of cringe from this year. Even though you guys have a more positive view, this is really frustrating for me. And it would be a blow up if we were closer to when I was
holder.
Yeah, if we were closer when I was losing in fantasy, I would have.
Yeah,
I think you should just say Triple J ruins my life.
Yeah. Just change that to Triple J, and then
I would draft him again though any day of the week.
I don't think you should be allowed to.
Yeah, then you don't get Wemby. How about that?
Well, I think everybody's going to get Wemby if they get number one.
Okay, that was it for the list. Thank you guys for doing it with me. Any final thoughts on this or fantasy?
Good exercise. I like this exercise.
Yeah, thank you for. I know I didn't explain it well at the beginning, but I thought.
It made sense. Yeah, it's not. I was just like, I don't want to come in here and just look like a dumbass. Is basically what my concern was.
Despite your very controversial take, despite your extremely controversial take on stockholders.
Besides that, it was okay.
I felt like I felt before the locks we actually had a pretty solid list.
So the locks ruined it.
No,
So
that's not what I'm
consensus is
trying to
better.
say. I'm not trying to say that, but I felt like we had a pretty solid list before
Yeah,
the
sure,
locks.
sure.
Yeah,
I agree.
like it was
Yeah.
actually pretty. Yeah, not that they ruined it. I'm just saying it was a solid list. It's still a solid list, but I'm just saying, yeah.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. Hopefully, when we get together next time, when you guys are free, whenever we can talk about playoffs, and then Siebes owes us a all Siebes rankings, which I'm looking forward to.
Yes.
So till next time, guys. Thanks for joining. As always, see you next time. Take care.
Peace.
Hello, welcome back to Bool Boys Pod, episode 57. Short episode this week as Steve's puffs in the corner over there.
It's the remnants of the puff.
Yeah. So we're here to do I had this idea last week that I would want to do a draft of all the NBA players I want to play basketball with. But yeah, and so obviously Brian and Siebes are here to do that with me. But just before we get into that, do you guys want to talk about NBA at all? Like, I know OKC's been going on a run, and then Russillo and Bill were talking about like Minnesota's run as well. Cleveland hasn't lost in 15 games. Any of these teams interesting? Any of these storylines interesting?
We've gotten to the point where because every media member feels the need to say we're not talking about OKC enough, we're actually talking way too much about OKC. So I feel that, I don't know, it's the cycle. They're an impressive team. I really don't know. Good for them. Good for what they've built.
But absolutely nobody's talking about Cleveland at all.
Well, because Cleveland's so fucking good. I feel like we've done our talking about them. We know that's a team that's been to the playoffs, 2 years in a row. They had the disappointing series 2 years ago against New York, right? Then last year kind of stumbled their way to beating Orlando. I don't know. I think Cleveland's one of those. Both of them are teams that they're going to have to prove it in the playoffs for people to actually care about them. I feel like it's the issue. I believe in Cleveland a lot. I believe in OKC too, to an extent. I just don't want to because I don't really like them very much. But
that was actually my exact sentiment as well. I think it's fine that we're not talking. Not that it's fine, but that it makes sense that people aren't talking about them as much because both teams showed promise in the past. Cleveland has gone to the second round, so has OKC. Cleveland's a little surprised that they're this good, but they have four basically all-star level players. And then for OKC, they were the third seed last year, and they just got knocked out by the Mavs. And the story for both of them was just like, can they perform in the playoffs? So it's like, you guys have proved it. You guys are a really good team, but what happens next? And so I get the discourse of like, oh, we're not talking about them enough, but it's you guys are clear 50, basically 60 win teams. It's just what's next. What if you get to the playoffs and get knocked out in the second round again? And then we would have wasted our time kind of talking about you. It's like we're bored of them in the regular season because they are so good. It's not disrespect. It's like, you guys are really good. We just need to see more.
I feel like last year we were even talking about this. Like, there's been an increasing trend to there's been a trend that the regular season has meant less and less, and because of this high variability basketball and the way games are going, I felt like in the last 3 years we brought it up. We've talked to each other about it. Like, the regular season, the teams that do really well often don't do that well in the playoffs, and so there's this disconnect. Like Atlanta, I guess a good example is starting at the Atlanta of 5 years ago or even longer than that, and going through, there's these I don't know what the surprise regular season teams that do well in the regular season but then just flame out in the playoffs. OKC and Cleveland are a different story because they've been there for a couple of years. So I feel like there has been, I'm caught in two minds. Yes, OKC and Cleveland are different, but overall I feel like the regular season has meant less and less going forward. You guys agree?
I think our last three champions are one seeds.
One seeds? Yeah, maybe at the top end, but within at top end, if you can differentiate yourself with a huge point differential like Celtics did last year, it's different. But do you feel like anyone in the middle, difference between 4, 5, 3, 6, 7 seed actually matters as much anymore. That's my contention.
I'd say that 1, 2, 3 matters. I feel like once you get past there, it probably doesn't matter as much. I don't know. I'm not the one team I'm not sure about being a 1 seed is Milwaukee, but I think they were a 1 seed, right? Then you have Denver was a 1 seed, Boston was a 1 seed. Before that,
That's
I don't
for
know.
championships, but not like for the Lakers example. A play-in team went to the conference finals. Dallas last year was not.
Dallas
a top
was
14.
an impressive run. I'm not a
Yeah.
huge fan of gassing up like the 6, 7 seed making the conference finals because luck broke their way. Like our run to the conference finals, I don't really care much about. Atlanta's run didn't really cool. It's a cool story.
Would you
for
at least
the time.
admit it's happening more though?
It's happening more, but I think Atlanta's was very lucky. Remember, I mean, Ben Simmons kind of disintegrated before our eyes.
Yeah.
Then you have, our run. We got a really good break. Memphis was extremely depleted. Then we played Golden State, who couldn't really match up with us. And Golden State was also, I think, a 6 seed at the time.
Golden State was a winner. Their winning year, they weren't a top seed either, right?
No, Golden. So maybe I'm wrong on the past. Maybe it's 3 of the last 4 years. It's a 1 seed because Golden State. I've forgotten about that championship. That was like one of the all-time flukes.
Sebastian. It's fine.
What?
It's fine.
No, it just feels like one of the all-time flukes and like incredible testaments to championship resolve because they'd done it before. But that was really fluky. I don't know. There's another Luka's first conference finals where it feels like that was kind of like, how did this happen?
Because of great shooting, right? Just great shooting.
Yeah. But
right.
Yeah, I think maybe you could say getting to the conference finals is a little more fluky when it's like 2 through 7, 2 through 8. But then the 1 seed has such an advantage once you get there because they've proved. I think the 1 seed typically proves that they're the best team.
Before we move on, Ryan, anything on that?
No, I mean I agree honestly.
Okay. So let's get into the draft. Siebes, it will be a snake draft. We are picking NBA players we would want to go and play pickup with at the LA Fit or at the park. So naturally, it doesn't. Yeah, you want to win, but also you don't want to be like on the side doing nothing with a la James Harden in 2019, that type of thing, or or maybe you do. Maybe you want to be carried. I don't know. That's not for me. Each person has their own personal.
For me.
I think Ashwin views himself as somebody who would do a carrying even with a bunch of NBA players on his team.
I know exactly what I need on my team to be successful, so you'll see. But okay, Steve is going first, then it'll be Brian, then me. I'll get another pick, so I'll go 3-4, then we go back the other way. We're going to pick 4 players, so you're starting plus your 4 other players. And then you get one 6-man energy guy or like a big guy off the bench. That's your choice, whatever you like. Okay. Steve, why don't you lead us off? Any questions first, actually? Any questions?
Will we say where we slot in after we pick everybody, or should we say where we envision ourselves?
I feel like it will become readily apparent by the players you pick.
I kind of see that as I was doing this exercise. I think that's probably true.
All right. So lead us off, Steve.
So number one, I do feel that it's kind of an obvious pick. I mean, you probably should pick the greatest player on the planet. So I will be going with Nikola Jokic. I don't think there's really any
naturally, no. I would have taken him. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I don't think there's any. Yeah.
He's fun to play with too. He'll pass you the ball.
Yes.
He'll do all the dirty stuff. Like it's a perfect pickup.
Active
player,
hands on defense. Active hands. Yeah.
Old man game. Like everything ticks every box. Yeah. Okay. No questions. Brian, you're next.
Yeah, I don't know if my pick is controversial, but I was thinking pickup. I mean, just to explain myself, pickups like about the swag, chill scoring, and then like you mentioned, I mean, just where I kind of see myself. I mean, I like scoring, but I think on a optimal situation, I don't consider myself the primary scorer. But if like injuries not withstanding, I'd choose KD because he's just like. Yeah, he's like primary scorer. He's pretty unselfish, but he kind of he has the gravity. He's got the kind of the pickup swag style. And then again, like I think if he's the primary scorer, I just get open shots. And I think that's ultimately what my goal is here, try to get some open shots.
It's like obviously Katie's going to be picked, but I feel like you could have picked him later because my next pick is going to be so dank now because of what you did. Okay, let me get a number 3. Let me get Wemby. So my defensive center like completely eradicates any like scrub shots at the rim. Just bam, back at him. Like anything. I don't have to play defense that hard because I know he's behind me. So Wemby, number 3. And then I consider myself a passer. I like to pass the ball, set people up. I don't think I know either of you guys would disagree with that. So I need somebody who's going to shoot. So at 4, give me Steph Curry.
Oh, you
Steph
fucker.
Yeah. So yeah, I got a good starting lineup there. Back to Brian.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of worry. I mean, I had maybe I'm just going with the old guys, but given how well he's playing, I had Braun next.
I'm fucked.
He passes the rock. And in his old age, he has demonstrated he can slot in wherever. And if I tell him, "Hey, man, I want to be in the corner," he'll get me the ball in the corner. So
I want LeBron really badly, honestly.
So within the context of pickup, I think he's pretty much one of the ultimate players.
I would have wanted him really badly.
Wouldn't you say this year has given like him even more glow because he's able to play off ball and doesn't need the ball? So in a theoretical team, like he's proven he can fit at any role. Whereas before he was only the ball dominant guy. So it's like a big turning point in LeBron's career. And good reason you picked him, I think.
Yeah, old man game, right?
Old man game, yeah. Pick your spots.
Yeah. I'd be getting hyped to see him body up some guy at LA Fit, dude. LeBron body up some guy while posting him up, I guess.
So now this throws a wrench in things. I'm going to have to think about what I want to do. With my second pick, I will go with... I don't want to... It's not going to be that fun, but I feel like it still fits the strategy.
You saw...
This is painful. I should probably go with him. Jason Tatum, I'll go with.
Oh, I would have.
Yeah. I need Jason Tatum.
Okay.
I honestly would have.
He's fucking massive, very versatile, good shooter. Yeah, I think Jason Tatum's an obvious one. And then I guess my pick now as well, right? Snake draft.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I have good passing. I need a shooter. He's leading the league in 3-pointers made, and he's athletic as hell and very exciting.
I know.
We'll go with my one of my favorites, Anthony Edwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Back to Brian. Right?
Hoping that my next guy's still available. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I think pickup, I'm constantly thinking of, and again, it's I wanted to make it specific to pick up. I didn't want it just to be like pick the best players, you know what I mean? So try to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So when I was thinking of like a pickup is just about chucking threes, but we do need a guy to be getting boards as well. I had Cat. He's like, just like he's gonna leak out. We're trying to run a little bit. We're just trying to have some fun, dude. I think like even though I mean you have somebody like Wemby, I feel like when I'm thinking of LA Fit, I'm not that I don't want to, but like dumping somebody down the ball down low in the post, even though he does do that.
Pick and pop. You want pick and pop.
We're trying to pick and pop. Drive and kick, dude. You don't got to think about it. You don't got to no sets. We're picking and popping, dude.
And he's wet.
Oh my God, drives.
Pretty much. That's so funny.
Yeah, great pick. I was looking at him as well. I would have probably picked him next if not.
Interesting. I didn't have him on my list. I thought about it, but there's
he's
a lot
good
more.
pickup player. Like you would imagine when it's like a
There's
softer
better.
game. Yeah, just shooting and
Sure.
I think I think so. So this one I wanted to do what Brian was saying and pick more like role players, but he's on there and I think he fits perfectly. I would take Giannis as my power forward. He's got the heart, he's got the grit, he's gonna play hard. He's gonna rebound. We don't need shooting anymore. 3. So yeah, me and Steph got the shooting on lock. We'll be okay.
Whatever. Whatever, man.
So
Dude, I'm gonna put Ant on you and humiliate you.
Yeah, probably so.
Ant guarding you.
My pick now. Okay, here's my counter. So Steph is my shooting guard. I need a dynamic wing to guard all your LeBrons, your KDs, your Tatums, your Ants. I'm going to go with Jalen Williams as my SF.
No, you've had him up close and personal all year this year. That's why it's a very homer pick.
I'm very impressed, and I'm impressed that he can pop off, but he also doesn't really need the ball, and he can still play very well, which I appreciate.
like him.
Yeah, that's funny that you mentioned him because like I couldn't pinpoint why, but he was when I was looking at lists, he was sticking out to me. Like
he's just like a good role player. Like I guess another player on this list I had was OG Anunoby, like way farther down. He's a much better version of OG in my opinion, because he can score.
I think he's a lot more talented offensively.
Yeah,
I would say that's,
I think way more.
I think that's unfair to Jalen Williams. Honestly, I like
defensive
OG a lot.
impact is very similar.
For sure,
Their defensive
I agree
impact
with
is
that.
very similar. They guard the same players, same body type. But yeah, Jalen is obviously much more talented, and is a all-star or fringe all-star going forward. So yeah, Jalen Williams. So I've Steph. My starting lineup is complete. We hand it back to Brian.
Already?
Yeah, I have 4.
Yeah, he's to pick a 6-man next, I believe.
I have to pick my 6-man next, or my last pick. But back to you, Brian.
Okay. Again, I don't know if this is
just to repeat. Brian has LeBron, KD, and Kat playing alongside Brian.
For sure. The next person that I had was John Morant.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. I think he passes the ball. He's hype. I think
Does
like
he?
it's one. He does pass the ball. He passes the ball. He gets assists.
I mean, every time. Maybe not this year.
He gets assists, dude. I could be the Desmond Bain to John Morant or the 4th option, dude. And again,
gotta go do your bicep curls.
I'm still aiming for fun, and I'm thinking of like Ball is Life highlight clips, and I had to get one of those guys in there, and so that's why I chose Ja.
While you're down 16.
Yeah, I mean, whatever, man.
Jaws going for a sick highlight dunk.
Yeah, we're getting the gym hype, dude. We're getting the gym hype.
It's team hype. It's team hype.
We're getting the gym hype, dude.
I want to say that I'm surprised you didn't pick another player, but I'm worried Sebastian will pick him, so I'm not going to say anything. I'll wait till the end. But I thought there was another player you would pick.
This
who's
is
in a
hard.
Similar vein.
I feel that there's 4 players left that I would really like.
Shay's not one of them. Shay, curiously absent.
Well, I thought he would already be picked. I feel like I should take a stance.
And I mean, he's obviously a really good basketball player, but I feel like pickup wise, I mean, he's not that fun. I think.
Yeah, I don't know. So now I have my last. It's me, right?
Yeah. Sorry, I kind of dropped out there for the internet blip.
You
But
did,
you got.
Yeah.
Keith, do you mind going again?
No, he didn't say.
We were discussing why we wouldn't pick SGA.
Because he just takes a lot of shots, and he's kind of
high usage.
Yeah,
really
high usage. It's like trying to like
really good
My
defender.
thing was
Really
that
good
there's
player.
no
He's a really
referee.
good player.
There's no referee, so he's not going to get like half of his value will be negated by
It's a good call.
no free.
He always
no free
have
throws.
he's gonna be the dude always saying foul, check up, and ruin the pace of the game. Yeah, that is a good point.
Yeah, basically, exactly. Yeah.
Oh man, I didn't think so. Now with my final starting pick, let's
Correct.
remember. I have Tatum, I have Ant, I have Jokic, and I have me. Do I get to imagine this player at like his peak athleticism, or are we having to go with like what we've last seen?
Current.
You said
No,
currently.
no.
You did say
Current,
current. You yourself said current. Yeah.
Current.
All
I would
right,
not have
this-
chosen somebody like I don't know LeBron if it was like I mean maybe I would have like the other
he'll never
years.
be this. He'll never be back to what I'm imagining.
Jamal?
So I think I have to exclude him.
I wouldn't pick Jamal, but it's up to
I'm
you.
probably gonna.
Murray.
I'll go.
He's playing better.
Embiid.
For sure,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, oh, you said Joel. You said Joel.
Yeah, Joel.
I thought you said Joel.
oh, really?
I'm not gonna go with him though. I'll go with. Cade Cunningham, or my point guard.
Nice.
I think that's pretty solid. My team's pretty large. And then with my 6th man, comes down to 2 players. This is difficult. I think this player can provide the rim protection and rebounding. So I'll go with Amen Thompson as my sixth man. I think, yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's
Okay.
a pretty perfect
A personal
sixth man to
favorite
have.
for sure, right? Yeah.
But I also think you consider the versatility. I'll say who my last cut was after you guys make your final two picks.
Okay.
Let's see if he gets chosen.
How many more picks do I have?
You have one
Brian,
more.
you have your starting 5 set up with you, LeBron, Katie, Kat, and Jaw. So you need your 6th man. Last pick.
Okay, yeah. I guess like keeping in tune with, I guess, the versatility and the fun. But as I'm listening to my team, there's no defense, and so gotta add a big defender. I have Evan Mobley.
Oh,
Interesting. I love Evan Mobley.
Mobile, you know, when he's going off, he's dishing the rock. He runs the floor. And again, we're out here trying to have fun. I think it's fun to play with Evan Mobley, and he's good, solid. I wanted to have a real solid guy with my last pick. So
yeah, who doesn't need the ball, won't complain,
exactly,
do the right things, fundamentals.
Exactly.
Yeah, you need
all
that
the other
type of player.
guys are, you know, I don't want to say ball stoppers, but they need the ball a lot. And,
Whiners.
hey, Papa Brian wants a few shots too, dude. I want to get fed the rock too, dude. I want to get fed the rock too, and I'm hot, dude. So.
Okay, very good. That rounds out Brian's team, and then for my team, okay, I'll mention it. I don't think it's fair to pick because he's like way too good. But I thought you would take Brunson instead of John Morant, Brian.
I would have taken Brunson over John Morant probably.
I felt like Brunson's like street style, yeah, herky jerky.
I considered it, but I think maybe I have some feeling of being sour to him when we were playing, even though I think he's a great player. I had him last year and I loved him last year, but I'm getting kind of tired of the, especially when he was playing the Lakers, just like the low pickup and the head snap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you.
That's true. That is true.
I'm trying to be on this team, dude. Like, hey, man. Like, he caused drama,
fair.
dude. He caused drama. I'm trying to have a fun team that's just hooping, dude.
Okay, so Brunson would have been my ideal pick, but then I think the more realistic pick, who would be okay being the 6th man, would be Josh Hart coming in.
Josh was a good pick. Yeah, I considered him. But that wasn't my final cut, actually.
Okay. Let me finish my final cuts, then we'll go back to Steve. My final cuts were Ty Jerome and Alex Caruso. So basically,
Caruso's a good one.
Give me a respite because I'm going to be that of shape one. He comes in, he plays well, he can create buckets for everyone else. One of those type of players. But yeah, Steve, who were your cuts?
Chet was probably my final cut.
Oh, okay.
I think Chet because I had it. My ideal starting lineup would have been Jokic, Chet or Wemby, LeBron, me, and then Amen or Cade probably.
Yeah,
I feel like the unselfish big man is just like a key component to the pickup team, dude.
Yeah,
hey, get some boards and give me the fucking ball, dude.
Pushing like
we're gonna have like. So yeah, I guess I switched up and just went Jokic, me, and then 4 pretty fucking big wings, or 3 big wings. Yeah.
I mean, Jokic is perfect, right? Jokic is literally perfect. I mean, he's unselfish.
I think ridiculous. Outside of like picking up Jokic, what Steve's did, any team that has Jokic instantly probably becomes the favorite because all players are picking out like really good players. The only way I would say it goes back to our conversation last week is you beat him in a pickup game is if you get like Kat, Booker, KD, Steph, and like one more shooter and just shoot threes the entire time. And it just never becomes a contest. I think that would be like some kind of similar to your team, Brian. Like maybe you remove John, you get in Steph or something.
Don't forget the hype, guys.
You gotta fuse both of your teams to beat my team. That's what you're saying, Ashwin. The only way you can beat my team is if you fuse both teams.
I be watching that YouTube basketball sometimes. We got to get the hype in there, dude. Terrible teams that get one nasty dunk.
You're gonna be
That's what makes the YouTube video, dude. That's what makes the YouTube video.
You're gonna be the terrible dude who's just trying to start fights. And then he makes like one whack ass shot, and everybody just
is this a travel.
He makes one whack ass shot and then starts talking mad shit, and the actual good players want to beat his ass. That's who you're gonna be.
Well, I didn't say that, dude.
That's what you kind of sounded like you were going at.
Trying to hit threes, man. Let's just try to hit threes, man.
So
we're just we're gonna slow it down to a grind, except for when Ant and Amen get out on the run.
yeah,
I actually have pretty hype players as well. I do have
you
to
have a good
say.
team, Steves. Your team is scary to play, but I feel like my team would win.
You're what, Wemby?
Wemby and Steph, Giannis at
Steph
the
is
4,
a big one.
and then Jalen at the 3, and then Josh Hart coming off the bench.
Yeah, but we're just gonna tire the fuck out of Steph. This is the thing. I have 4 people.
Well, he's got me
four
dishing him
defenders.
the rock. I'll set him up, dude, for the easy 3.
I don't think.
What
you'll
would be
get
your role,
past half
Sebastian?
court.
What would be your role?
I'm the 2 guard, like glue guy, Caruso-ish guy. Caruso,
Okay, like
PJ
Josh Hart,
Tucker.
basically, yeah.
Yeah, kind of. Josh Hart probably is a lot better than I would be.
And Brian is like the Vashawn Leonard of his team, right?
Fuck you, man. Give me a hype shooter. Who's the hype shooter this year?
Grayson Allen.
Kyler Hero.
I literally was thinking that. I just didn't want to say it because it fed into your narrative of trying to start fights and shit.
Damn, the Grayson Allen. And you have KD on your team.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
Booker would have been a good pick, actually, now that I'm thinking
Yeah,
about it.
yeah,
but-
that's
I thought
true.
so as
Booker would have
well,
been
yeah.
good. Booker would have been good.
That mid-range is really, when it's on, it's unstoppable.
So I just had notable exclusions and why I didn't pick them. Maybe you guys agree, but I said there one earlier. Luka Harden, just heliocentric ball isn't that fun.
Harden was an interesting one for me. I thought I'd pick him, but then I kind of went off of it just because
Maybe this year
changed
Harden.
strategy. Yeah. Well, he's
This year
still pretty
Harden, true, yeah.
heliocentric.
But even still, like
he
he's
is, but
very similar to what I would do. I just want the ball all the time to set it up, and he does that. For Tatum and Brown, I said I don't need corny like water break speeches.
Tatum's not.
We gotta do
No,
better.
Tatum's not going to do that.
We can do it. Maybe Brown. Maybe Brown.
Jason's not going to do that on our team.
Embiid, don't need an injured guy who's old, who plays old and doesn't get back on defense. I thought Ant would ball hog, so I didn't want to pick him.
That's the one issue. But he
Shea,
plays,
no referees. Yeah. What do you say about Ant? Did you think he'd be my ball hog?
He's
a little
played
bit?
on like Team USA, and he hasn't been a ball hog there. I feel like when he's in the presence of other great players, he knows how to swing the ball.
Dame time. I thought Dame. I looked at Dame's stats earlier today when we were playing. He's 25, 7 and 4 on like 40.
Yeah, he's good.
It's not bad, man. It's not.
no,
bad.
it's good. I just think it's
But
the results. I mean, we're getting shellacked.
I don't need a
Out of
dude who's
bucks
going to
right
pull
now,
up from a step behind half court, being like, "Oh, look at this dank 3 I hit." It's like I don't want to play the game. We don't need you to
Basically,
turn this
Andrew.
into a 3-point contest.
We're getting
that's-
shellacked.
Yeah, we are.
And then I thought Cade would
What's
be
happening?
too similar to me. So there you go.
You thought
A little
Cade
humble
was
brag.
too similar to you.
Damn,
Yeah, a
dude.
little humble brag.
You're like
there.
you're like
Everybody didn't hear it.
8
Damn,
inches
dude.
shorter than him.
We play the same way.
Yeah,
we play the same way.
What I actually wanted to do, why I was so fixated on Joel, is because I thought maybe there would be this world where I could get Joel, Jokic, and LeBron, and we just play slow as fuck and bully the fuck out of teams.
That'd be
But
dank.
then when LeBron went, I had to pivot, and it was like I can't really do this strategy anymore. But
Your sixth
My-
man could have been Kyle Anderson.
I don't want
Play
to.
super slow.
It still would have been Amin Thompson. Amin Thompson was destined to be the 6th man because he can do everything.
That's fair. Anything else on this, guys? I mean, that's all I had. I was going to keep it short. Seeps has to go very
Yeah.
soon.
No worries.
But thanks for joining. We'll see you in a couple weeks next time when we do our next pod. But thanks for joining. And maybe the viewers can tell us whose pickup team was Supreme in the comments below. Okay. Thanks, guys. Take it easy.
Peace.
Peace.